These are my notes for today. I was supposed to be making a whole nother video. My message for today's video literally came actually from another video a couple days ago. It was my exiting the lazy girl era. It actually came out of that video. Towards the end, I just randomly said something and it just completely, like, I don't know where it came from. I just said something. Stop comparing when actually, in hindsight, none of us are actually even competing with each other. I'm gonna step on some toes because listen, us ladies comparing, I feel like women are always in competition with each other. And before you say, oh, I'm not competing, I'm not, like, there is no competition, where that's still competing. And honestly, in reality, none of us are even competing with each other. We all bring so many different things to the table. Like I already mentioned, comparison, we have heard so many different times. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. If you are someone that you are constantly comparing yourself, like whatever you are working on, and I'm going to get to my example in a minute. If you're working on something and you're constantly comparing yourself to someone else that may be working on something similar, eventually it's gonna get to you. If you are new here, hi, my name is Brianna. I am just sharing my journey in faith, fitness, becoming a new mom here on my channel. That's just what I'm doing. But I honestly struggled, like becoming a new mom. Like one of my biggest things was I hit a certain point after I had my baby that I was constantly picking myself apart physically. I was working and working and working, and I just wanted to snap back. And then you see other women that after, a couple weeks after they have their baby, they're just completely snapped back and looking good and all this stuff. And I hit a point where I was like, wow, here I am working out 6 days a week and on the biggest cut diet, and I'm not budging. So I honestly really was beating myself up for a little bit, and it really did suck for me. I'm not gonna lie. I gave up. I gave up my fitness challenge. I have been creating content. A lot of people don't know this, but I've actually been creating content for the past like 4 or 5 years, but I've never been consistent due to comparison. I would have a couple videos that would do very, very well, and it, kept me on this motivation high for a little bit, and I was just like going, going, going. And then because let me tell you, again, I say this in every video, I genuinely love doing this. I love editing. I love planning my videos. I love to sit down and granted, I'm in a different spot now. Like now I really feel like I'm settling into my purpose. So I have a different mindset now versus back then. But I'm spending all of this time, I'm spending time recording, I'm spending time, hours editing, creating thumbnails, doing this, doing that, pouring into my channel. And I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing. And then, somebody else comes along. And again, I'm talking about my past self. Listen, I'm going to be completely transparent. There's somebody that comes on here and just puts out, whatever, no edits, no this, no that. And it's doing very well and good for them. Again, I'm talking about in a different, a way, like past self, me. And that's honestly such an ugly way of thinking because you don't also know what that person's going through. But we'll get to that in a minute. I allowed that to honestly defeat me a couple times. I would just give up. I would stop. I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And here we are. Because here's the thing. I'm not competing with anybody. Like, yeah, we're not competing with each other. Ladies, you can't say, oh, I'm not competing with her, and have that mindset of, I can't compete where I can't compare, or whatever the saying is that women be saying. We have to shift that into, no, I'm not competing with anybody. This is not, I'm not competing with anybody because we are all different and we are all beautifully made differently. The gifts that we're given, the qualities and characteristics that we are given are completely different that bring so much to the table equally. So that is just the message that I got. Again, I was not supposed to be making this video literally whatsoever. This was not the video I was supposed to be making. But before my videos, I pray that God leads me in the direction. And whenever I was writing my notes for the video I was planning, here we go. So now I see where the Holy Spirit was leading me last week, the couple videos ago, whenever I said this out loud and I said, stop comparing because we're not in competition. So I see where that's coming from. God, thank you. I am actually going to be out of First Corinthians today, and let me tell you, I literally wrote on my Bible. I'm going to take a picture of it. I literally wrote on my Bible, "Are you listening?" Because when I tell you, like, God just completely laid this on me. Now listen, before you start saying, "Okay, well, here she goes with her Bible." Yes, number one, here I go with my Bible, and just give me a little bit of your time. Give me a little bit of time. Let me actually round the message up. So, First Corinthians 12:12 starting in, and like I said, I literally wrote on my Bible, "Are you listening?" Like with a whole bunch of question marks, because like when I tell you God laid this on me, it is crazy. First Corinthians 12:12, and it says, "The human body has many parts, but the many parts make up one whole body." So whenever I say parts, I want you to think of all of us individually, like all of us humans individually. We make up one whole. Yes, the body has many different parts, not just one. If the foot says, "I am not a part of the body because I'm not a hand," that doesn't make it any less part of the body. If you are somebody and you're like, okay, well, if you're trying to make content, again, using myself as an example, if you're trying to make content and you're like, okay, well, I don't look what they like, I don't do what they do. I don't look like that. I'm trying to lose weight, and here's this Gymshark beautiful athlete, like I don't look like her. That doesn't make you any less valuable than them. Yes, you have different qualities, you have different, you have a different path, but that doesn't make you any less valuable than that person that you're comparing yourself to. So, carrying on, not trying to get ahead of myself, that does not make you any less part of the body. That doesn't make you any less valuable. And if the ear says, "I am not a part of the body because I'm not an eye," would that make make it any less part of the body? If the whole body were an eye, how would you hear? If we were all completely the same, what value would that be? If we were all spoke the same, looked the same, had the same body type, did the same exact thing, what what value would that bring to this earth? What would that do for us if we were all completely just the same people? Like, y'all remember Fairy Odd Parents? Y'all remember when literally the whole city turned gray? Think about that. If we were all completely just the same, what value would that bring to life? And if the ear said, "I'm not a part of the body because I'm not an eye," would that make it any less part of the body? If the whole body were an eye, how would it hear? Or if the whole body were an ear, how would it smell anything? But our bodies have many parts, and God put each part just where He wants it. This is to reassure you that no matter what you're working on, you are valuable. You bring so much value. I'm going to get ahead of myself again. God has put each person where He wants them. But it does say God put each part where He wants it. How strange a body would be if it only had one part. Yes, there are many parts, but only one body. The eye can never say to the hand, "I don't need you." The head can never say to the feet, "I don't need you." In fact, some parts of the body that seem weakest and least important are actually the most necessary. So I want to tell you, if you are someone that, if you are struggling and you're just saying like, "Oh, there's nothing for me." Number one, we're all supposed to be working together. Again, let me not get ahead of myself. You are valuable. You bring so much value. And so one person to the next, we cannot sit here and say, "Okay, I'm more valuable than them because I have this and I have all this money and I have, all this stuff." No. That doesn't make you more valuable, more worthy than the next person. This makes for harmony among the members so that all members care for each other. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. If one person is suffering, we all need to have community and come together. And if one part is honored, all the parts are glad. Whether we're winning or we're losing, we need to do this together. We all make up one body. And going back to, we are not competing. This isn't like, okay, well, guess what? Who's going to win at life? Who has more than the next person? Who is better at that? I'm in a content creating group with church, and there are women that do ask me, okay, well, how do you edit? And how, I am interested in doing this, so how do I do it? Imagine if I were just, stuck up and being on YouTube and just saying, "Oh, well, I'm not helping them. I have, I'm growing my platform, I'm doing this." Like, imagine having that, like, terrible mentality of, like, not sharing your gift and your craft with somebody else. Listen. I don't even know. Y'all, I'm getting so far ahead of myself. I don't even know where I am anymore. I just want to say like that, and I'm sharing my insight to maybe try to put this in words, but you know, like I said, I've given up on content many times. I've been creating since like 2019, 2020. So actually like yeah, like 6 or 7 years. Wow. And I was never consistent. And I always knew that I loved it. I always knew that it's something that I was good at. I love editing, like I said, I love creating, I love to sit down, but now that I actually followed now that I've actually been like on my walk with God and getting the messages from him, because listen, like I said, I was not even, this message was not on my mind whatsoever, and God just led me, and like I have pages of notes and the adrenaline, and I try not to speak too fast, and I try not to get, you know, overly like hyped in a way, but whenever getting a message from God that burns into me that I need to pass along, it just like, it's just such an adrenaline like rush in a way. You know, I gave up on content over and over and over and over and over. And the thing is, if you're somebody that's good at something, you cannot look at other people and just say, gosh, they have it way better than I do. Because number one, content definitely has it has its moments to where, you know, I know a lot of people, they do want to share, and they're allowed to share whatever they want to share. You know, they can share whatever parts of their life they want to, and what they choose to, but you never know what actually it takes. And you know, right now I'm a small creator because I'm building my platform, but I already by myself, I'm, you know, these videos, you know, it may not look like it, like it may be a 10-minute video, but I'm recording 40 to 50 minutes and then editing, like spending a couple hours editing and putting in the information that I need to, making sure my messages come across, because again, I am new in faith and I don't want to lead people and steer them wrong. One thing I don't want to do is share misinformation on the Bible, and um not be like, of course I'm new and I'm learning, but I don't want to spread false information, and I don't want to misinterpret things and have you misinterpret them. So it is definitely, it's a process of content creating. And you know, whenever you spend hours and hours and hours, and you know, I never really care. Like like I said, if 3 people needed this video, 3 people needed it. I'm happy you're here. I love you, and I'm hoping that I can motivate you in any way or change your mindset in a way. That is my mission. That is my goal. To be completely transparent, yeah. Like if I'm putting, you know, 4 hours into one video, to be completely real with you, and for the first 3 hours it has no views, I'm like, dang, I was really proud of that, you know? And I want, again, I'm using this as an example because if you are someone and you're working really, really hard on something and it's not going the way that you want it first off, I don't want you to beat yourself up, and I don't want you to allow looking at other people to really affect you. And I want you to know that whatever your qualities are, keep going. Never know the people that you can help along the way. We're all created differently. We are all given different gifts, different desires, different qualities, characteristics, you know, all these things. But really, we just make up one body. And so, whenever it says, you know, the body isn't just made up of an eye, because what good would that be? That is honestly so true. So have that mindset of, no, I'm not competing with people. I'm not in competition with the next person. I'm different, but we all bring so much. And so that's my video for today. God, and then at the end, I literally put, did you hear that? Did you get that? Because what do you mean? The adrenaline rush is crazy. It just honestly is so true. It really does suck, because if you spend your whole life competing with people that you don't even know, your fixation's on the wrong thing. I don't know. I don't know if anybody needed that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I altered your brain a little bit, but that is the message for today.